What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be talking about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, its sequel, and it getting the Majora's Mask treatment. With the brand new Breath of the Wild sequel trailer that we got, there's a lot to unravel in that little 50-second clip. However, off-screen, some news outlets have had the opportunity to speak with Eiji Aonuma, the director and producer of the Zelda series, about the cryptic trailer that Nintendo laid on us at the end of the E3 Direct. Something important to point out is that this is a reveal trailer, and when you compare this to the likes of what we've received with Animal Crossing or Metroid Prime 4 at previous directs, this one is hearty, and most likely from an in-game cutscene. And I'm no game developer, but I'm pretty sure in-game cutscenes come far after the stages of story, map, overall ideas, gear, weapons, NPCs, and a hefty amount more. With that mindset, we're led to believe that this game is a good amount into development. Nintendo could have ended E3 with the Banjo reveal, but no, they dropped that on us afterwards. They wanted to win E3, and by golly, I think they did. With all that in mind, people could presume that the game would be coming out holiday 2020, which not only makes sense, but it's pretty gosh dang believable. That would bring us to a release that's just 4 years shy between Breath of the Wild and this sequel. That's much better than the 5 to 6 years that we've had to wait for more recent entries in the Zelda series. In fact, that's much more in line with the development time that we saw between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which was about 18 months of development. It also should be noted that Majora's Mask was there, and they still brought out Wind Waker in that maybe 4 to 5-ish year period, which is pretty impressive. And with such a short development time and a vast majority of assets from Ocarina of Time being reused into Majora's Mask, it's really a surprise that the game was successful as it was. But by taking the game in a completely different direction, it was able to stand alone as a game and not be directly compared to Ocarina of Time and its somewhat lack of a free roam exploration that we found in Majora's Mask. Plus, the most rewarding side quest we've ever had in a video game. I'm looking at you, Couples Mask. Which brings us to today. As soon as people saw the reveal with its reused assets from Breath of the Wild, and so shortly after, many wondered if it would be the Majora's Mask of Breath of the Wild. During an interview at the Nintendo booth with IGN, director and producer of the Zelda series, Eiji Aonuma, confirmed that the sequel will not, in fact, be related to Majora's Mask, despite its very, very darker tone. His quote is, "The new Breath of the Wild, or the sequel to it, it's not necessarily going to be related to Majora's Mask or inspired by it. What we showed you is currently a little darker." That last line resonated with me. What we showed you currently is a little darker. There's no question that it's darker in theme from pretty much anything we saw in Breath of the Wild. Even the completely pitch black areas weren't spooky dark, they were just dark. What we've seen currently is this trailer, and it boosts an eerie, reverse-voiced soundtrack that some have noticed has snippets from the Zelda 1 Game Over screen. Check this out. The trailer is exclusively shot in subterranean locations filled with that faint glow of luminoid stone, rats murdered by malice, and a reanimated mummified remains of presumably Ganondorf. More on that later. When comparing that to the beautiful open world view that we received from Breath of the Wild, it's a stark contrast. However, this is just one 50-second clip. When Breath of the Wild was first shown off between late 2016 and early 2017, we saw a lot of map, a lot of area to cover, and then we found out that that was just the Great Plateau, which was less than 5% of the entire game. So looking back at the differences of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, will Breath of the Wild and its new sequel have the same variation from what we grew to love about the shakeup of the core Zelda gameplay? Perhaps we'll see the return of traditional dungeons. And from what we've seen in the trailer, maybe that is one of the dungeons that we're going to be finding in the new game. I doubt that we'll have the return of traditional items, such as the hookshot or boomerang. Well, we already have boomerangs, they're just not as important. And I really hope we don't have heart containers and all the random places that you have to bomb that you get no notification that they're there. Instead, I really do like the shrine concept for that. But instead, we should look forward toward the variations of Breath of the Wild that we can hope to see mainly a more fleshed out story. Personally, I just hope that we get the same open world that we love in Breath of the Wild. I want a lot of shrines that I could complete in any order that I like. I want a huge, daunting map filled to the brim with things to explore and discover. I want to go through the map and every minute have my Sheikah sensor tell me about a shrine, or I see something in the distance that intrigues me and I want to go see what it is, and no matter where it is, across water, up a mountain, across a valley, I can go there. That's what I want. That's what we want. And the rewarding side quest, better story, traditional dungeons, and still everything optional that we had in other Zelda games. Some of you may have seen my analysis on the Breath of the Wild sequel trailer, and I want to point out that I went into it with a very Breath of the Wild mindset. I played through Breath of the Wild 5 times, twice 100%ing it, and I'm currently playing through it again for another video coming soon, so it's easy to say that I have more hours in Breath of the Wild than every other Zelda game put together times 2. There were some things that I missed, mostly about Gerudo lore. My biggest interaction with the Gerudo was an Ocarina of Time on the N64, which used a symbol with a moon and a star, which was removed from other iterations of the Legend of Zelda series due to its ties of Islamic culture and its resemblance of it. That symbol has been changed to this now Gerudo symbol. I won't say the new Gerudo symbol, just what it is now, and it's actually been this way since Majora's Mask, although I don't remember seeing it in Majora's Mask, and more importantly, I've overlooked the symbol as being iconic to the Gerudo, but it's on Urbosa, and I don't know how I could have missed that. It's literally on the amiibo, in my room, next to me, all the time, and she's the thickest. You'd think I would see that. When looking back at the trailer and the predominant use of the Gerudo language and the green spell coming off the hand in the middle of the room, the man wielding a trident, which is an iconic weapon of the Gerudo, the wall painting that's looking more and more like Ganondorf when I look at it, and the mummy, with its enlarged cuspids or canines that appear on Ganondorf in the Wind Waker HD. The stab wound being where Ganondorf was impaled with the Sword of the Six Sages is where the hand is holding back Ganondorf's malice, and of course, the Gerudo jewelry. You know when you have a mindset on something being one way and your brain starts to perceive everything that could be a supporting fact? That's what happened to me. I figured Ganon is dead because I literally killed him in Breath of the Wild countless times. So it must be some other bad guy, and my brain went to Demise because similar looking in stature and also a badass. I saw this trailer as being a direct sequel of Breath of the Wild taking place immediately after it in the timeline, and while I still do, that doesn't mean that Ganon is dead. Oh god, he is never dead. He is literally bound to never die and always be a pain in Link's butt. And if you'd like to hear a theory about how Dark Beast Ganon and the Blights are apparitions by this re-dead Ganondorf, I suggest you check out Zeltic's trailer analysis. It's really great. Like, I really do recommend you take a look at it. I'll have it linked on the end screen.
I think that this body, buried and sealed deep below Hyrule Castle, is the real Ganondorf, and Calamity Ganon, and subsequently Dark Beast Ganon, are just apparitions, manifestations of his power.
And I really do want to go back and play the older Zelda games, especially with you guys on my channel here. However, because of the algorithm and the way YouTube is formatted, it'll actually hurt my channel more than help it. Not to mention how unpopular live streams are on YouTube Gaming. Maybe one day I'll say, screw it and just stream it and ignore the consequences. But for now, I'll be doing a bit more research on other Zelda games lore with my Breath of the Wild videos. And of course, I'll be having full coverage on all upcoming Zelda videos in addition to my Pokemon content. Hidden Spy Rule comes out tomorrow and I'm really excited for it. If you're interested in the game, leave a comment down below, and hopefully if there's enough support, I'll cover it here on the channel. And if you're excited for Breath of the Wild 2, be sure to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.